whether you want to look at it entirely in physiological terms, which you can do, or whether you want to use any of the subtle body models of the various esoteric systems of the world, ultimately, remember that all that stuff is connected. The physical is connected to the subtle, which is connected to consciousness and the most subtle experiences. So you can work on any of those levels and create change on any of the other levels, but if you want to get through it as quickly as possible, as balanced as possible, etc., it pays to work with as many levels as you can, in a way that is methodical and that doesn't get you distracted or feeling like you have attention deficit disorder because you're trying to do so many things at once. So a progressive, methodical methodology can be very helpful. If you are a fairly relaxed and calm and grounded person, and you're experimental and exploratory in your nature, it is possible to go through part or all of a complete Kundalini process on your own, especially if you have some idea based on what I've just said or based on any good books that you've read on the subject. It is possible to go through it on your own. It's happened, certainly. But frequently, somewhere along the way, you may either feel stuck or you may feel like you just experienced something so wonderful that you don't want to let go of it, and therefore you can't sort of go to the next step along the process. You have a dark night of the soul. You said, oh, well, I've experienced this. Why would I want to go back to normal life ever? And that's very common. People do experience that crash or depression sometimes after they experience bliss during one of the physiological changes in their body. So it helps to have people who know what they're doing. And whether that's us or somebody else, I bid you do your best to find them. There are more people who are biologically awake in this way somewhere along the process than you might be aware. There are an awful lot of us in the world, but it is more rare to find people who have gone through the entire process or had an idea how to do that. Much more frequently, people get stuck either in the first few centers, or they may finally open the heart center and stay there, because you have to do a little bit of fine-tuning to your methodology in order to get those upper centers to open. So, anyway, I hope this was of help to everybody on the broadcast. If you have further questions, I will do another one of these next Wednesday, so please send in those questions. If you have follow-up questions, that's great too. If you have basic questions, like what is Kundalini, what does it feel like, how is it experienced, send those in too, because we didn't really cover those. And until you have some idea, at least metaphorically, of what it is and how it feels and the different ways that it can manifest, it's just a word, it's a term, and you can get awfully confused and mystified about something that doesn't need to be that mystifying. Yes, there are great mysteries that are experienced through this process, through the awakening, but at the same time, very frequently it's over-mystified by people who are either selling something or don't understand it fully themselves and are trying to teach it anyway. So, that said, good luck to you in your own searches. Out of my own love for the system, I do hope that you join us and take a CAP course. The CAP Level 1 is the only course you actually need to be able to understand the basics of all of this and to do it yourself. All the other courses are just advanced training in how to use your subtle body, basically. But whether you use it or not, if you read Dr. Morris's meditations in his books carefully, you'll get a head start. There's a lot in there. But it's really understanding how to put those things together and how to keep them in balance that is the wonder of CAP. There aren't any super secret techniques in CAP. There's a couple that are somewhat difficult to find in books, etc. And there are some that are very common, like the orbit, like belly breathing, etc. Those are all in there to keep balance. The orbit can be used to increase the chi field in the body and get things moving a little bit, but the orbit itself very rarely actually carries people through the entire awakening. It's just a good safety feature because it gets energy circulating in the body so that if energy ever gets jammed up as Kundalini is rising, it has somewhere to go.